Joining us now with more insight on the mayoral race as well as national politics, WGN political analyst Paul Lisnek. Let's start with the mayoral race.
Sure.
Two big endorsements today, Vallis and Chuy Garcia.
Yeah, and what's interesting are the aldermen who are stepping away to endorse them. In addition, by the way, and of course Brandon Johnson also gets an endorsement today too from Pat Dowell. So these are people who are really tight with Mayor Lightfoot. Tom Tunney the other day. These are people who got great positions and they're coming out for Vallis or for Brandon Johnson and such. And in doing so, that really sends a message. What is City Council thinking about the mayor? And also Brian Hopkins, who was another one that went for Vallis today. One of the things he said, which was interesting, which is so many aldermen, although they would go elsewhere, are so afraid to speak. They're not talking up because they fear that, you know, if the mayor is reelected, that certainly is possible, that they would pay retribution in a second term.
So our supporters are starting to crumble a little bit.
Looks like there's a little bit of breaks in those walls.
And what about Paul Vallis getting help in the Chicago mayoral bid from an ex-officer in the Laquan McDonald scandal?
Yeah, you know, Micah, now that, of course, that officer wasn't involved in the moment himself. He was involved in gathering video and doing some other things. But he was involved in the civil settlements as well.
Right.
You know, sometimes you get a forced error, which is to say this money, a $5,000 donation from him. There's been no response yet from the Vallis campaign.
Which is interesting.
Well, exactly. You want to get out ahead of these things. You know, to me, if I was advising the campaign, which I'm not, I would say give that money back and you know, and just distance yourself. Look, everybody knows that Vallis has support of the police, the FOP's behind him and such. And it's a delicate balance between wanting the police to support you, but at the same time recognizing you need reform with the police. So Vallis walks more closely on the supporting police and all of that, but this is something that may have to push him in the other direction. He can't go long without responding to this.
So the election is drawing near. Let's broaden the picture here.
Sure.
Talk about the national political scene. Surprising jobs growth report today, giving a little bit of wind behind President Biden. 517,000
jobs is really unheard of, and an unemployment rate that has not been this low since 1969. Remember when they started walking on the moon? I do.
No, I don't. I heard about it. I've read about it.
I was there. Not on the moon. Not on the moon, yeah. No, so these numbers are really amazing. Once again, like everything else, it's if you go up to the average person, do you say, how you feeling about all these great numbers? Manufacturing is up, and they're also noting that people of low-paying jobs are actually getting more in terms of raises and things like that. So you're seeing some of those kinds of changes, but you still have a lot of people just feeling, you know, it's expensive. They have to feel it.
I was going to say it may not help inflation, though, which is a big part of the picture.
Well, and the market didn't exactly go up from this today, Ray. Market went down, so it's almost as though the market experts are not quite sure what to make of this. But objectively speaking, the numbers themselves, good for Joe Biden.
Pretty hot on the congressional floor this week.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar off of the Foreign Affairs. A lot of people, not only did she talk up for herself, we had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and we also had our own Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky.
They all got up there, and listen, this is a tough one because Omar herself has said some anti-Semitic things. So those who say that that's what's behind their vote, it's fair enough. She apologized for it. It was, and she's apologized.
Yes,
and the response too has been Marjorie Taylor Greene has said stuff, and she's not backing off or apologizing for anything. Probably the smartest thing maybe McCarthy did, although George Santos, to bring him up, has said he's pulled himself off his committees because he's a distraction. Not so sure that's true. I don't know that it's not. But my guess is that McCarthy put a little pressure on him because how do you push to take Omar off a committee, but then you let Santos on two committees? It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Especially since the FBI is now investigating.
Well, that's exactly right. And McCarthy getting himself into a little trouble too when a reporter sort of said, hey, this comment was made that Ashley Babbitt was murdered from Marjorie Taylor Greene at her first committee hearing. Do you think that's what happened, or do you think that the officer did what they needed to do? And he said the officer was doing his job. He's taking a lot of heat from Donald Trump over that one.
And then Mike Quigley also, for much different reasons, off of his Intelligence Committee.
So I think what may have been going on, though, Congressman Quigley has, I think, denied this, but he was actually supporting Adam Schiff to be leader over Hakeem Jeffries. And, you know, the unfortunate part of all this is that it suggests that, you know, you want to think younger people, it's a new generation, it's a new day. But if indeed Hakeem Jeffries was punishing Mike Quigley by pulling him off this committee, which he's been on for so long, and he is one of the more knowledgeable members on that committee, then it really seems to be short-sighted. In addition, you've lost Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, whether you agree with the reasons or not, but they're off. So you're losing a lot of history on that committee. And for him to sort of give it to Jeffries has this theory of wanting to give new, younger Congress people chances. I get that. But when you have a committee like Intel, which is so very important, to pull off one of the most critical members because what seems like revenge is really unfortunate, and unfortunate for Quigley.
What are some of the biggest sticking points with Kevin McCarthy, you mentioned him, and Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, as far as this debt ceiling? They've met for the first time the other day, but still can't come, come
Well, so here's what's interesting. President Biden has said, McCarthy, give me your budget. Let me see what it is. And McCarthy says, I'm not going to do that with her. That's fine. Here's the problem. McCarthy has already said, we're not cutting Social Security, we're not cutting Medicare, we're not cutting Medicaid, and he's also said we're not going to touch defense. Michael, when you look at all of the money, the money that goes into the budget, there's almost nothing. You got about $4 left over after you hit those numbers. That's an exaggeration. But the bottom line is that if you're going to cut all those stuff up, what's the point? There's nothing else to cut.
Sunday morning show.
Sunday morning, Congressman Darren LaHood, Republican from Illinois, will join me. He is working with Quigley to come up with congressional modifications when confidential information and documents are involved. We'll talk about China, and DePaul professor Nick Katrubis will also talk to us about the mayor's race all on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. Micah and I will be having breakfast watching, right?
No, we won't.
Thanks, Paul.